Hello. Hello, hello guys. Huh. Let me see. Hmm. Hey guys, is anyone watching right now? I am still figuring things out uh, as I figure out to do a little bit of a presentation for you guys. I'm using OBS Studio. It's my first time doing this on YouTube, so I'm very rusty. If not, there's some workarounds, or I'll just talk. Can you guys see the PowerPoint presentation? Can somebody tell me? I'm also going to verify it myself using an alternative device. Let me see. Okay. Huh. I don't think you guys are able to see the actual PowerPoint presentation. You guys are able to see this one, I think. Or anyway, let me try it. There's some lag, so I'm not able to see it. Did it work? I guess it did not work. So you guys are unable to see the presentation, I think. Anyway, it's a bit early. And since I'm rusty, I can be forgiven by not having a very fluid presentation. So I guess it doesn't work. So we'll do the alternative one. Okay. I think it would be most helpful if I have another screen. We'll try this one. Okay, this one should work. Okay, let's reduce this, increase this, and then so that you guys can view it. Make myself smaller, make myself smaller. I think this is something you can view, so we'll just go do this manually like this, just showing you the raw PowerPoint. So I can't show you the actual PowerPoint presentation, but this should be suitable. This should suit us fine. And let me go back to the live. Anyway, I'm looking at myself also using my trusty cellular phone. Um, I guess we could start. I'll try to make this quick. I have to finish it. I have to finish this presentation less than 30 minutes. And if there's anyone watching who would have any questions, please feel free to put it on the chat at any time. To introduce myself, my name is John Calam and I am coming to you from KHL Motorsport. So to get to know us a little bit better, KHL Motorsport is you could see it's a YouTube channel, but we are a motorsports team here in the Philippines. we're trying to push that um, we're trying to help promote affordable racing, and we hope to promote Philippine motorsports as an avenue for being a respectable hobby, and as an avenue for an additional tourism activity for visitors to our beautiful and lovely country. So I'm a real motorsports guy. I've been a professional motorsport person for a long time. But anyway, let's go to that when we reach that part of the presentation. So let's start with the PowerPoint presentation. Let's do it manually. If you guys are already watching this thing live, please feel free to ask questions. Okay. Let's start first with the title, Racing in the Philippines Affordably. I want to take this opportunity to inform everybody that the Philippines is uh, a country where you can do motorsport activities in an affordable manner, in a manner in which you would be able to enjoy with the various motorsport activities that are here. So if you are visiting the country and you want to dabble in the motorsport activities of a certain nation, and if you happen to drop by in the Philippines, or you happen to decide that the Philippines is something or a place you want to visit, especially if you're visiting the Metro Manila, Greater Metro Manila region, we are here for you to enable you to experience motorsport activities here. Whether you take a run, uh, you take a track day on a racetrack, local racetrack, go for a practice, or compete in actual competitions in various levels. Um, So let us try to start this thingamabob, this presentation. So the title again is Racing in the Philippines Affordably. All right. Okay, contents. I mean, it's gonna be very expansive if we really go into detail on how best you could participate in motorsports affordably in the Philippines. Whether you're a local like me, or you're an expatriate, or you are a tourist coming from another country, you will find that hopefully that this one would give you a rough overview on this topic. We've done other videos also regarding this on our YouTube channel, um, giving you certain options, but this is another take uh, about this topic. Um, Contents are as follows. We are gonna talk to you guys about the advantages of Philippine motorsport as an industry, the available disciplines of motorsport in which you could participate at, the thing about the motorsport ladder and what it is, professional versus casual motorsport. The reason being is I'd like to also find out when I get to talk to you personally on a one-to-one consultation. I want to know also, and what the most important thing also that you need to know for yourself is, do you want to take this seriously, or you want to do this as a hobby, as a pastime? So if you are gonna do either being serious or not, there are ways to skin the cat on that one. And we'll show you some ways to compete affordably. Okay, and tell you where to go, basically, in this presentation. And we'd like to also take the opportunity to offer our services to you, the viewer. Right? So how can we at KHL Motorsport help you further your motorsport career, whether for fun or whether for serious business? All right? So the focus of the presentation, we want to give you opportunities with relation to four-wheeled motorsport only. Because I don't know much about the what is available with motorcycles. I don't know anything about boats. I don't know anything about airplanes and other forms of transportation-based sport. So we're focused on four-wheeled motorsports because that is our expertise and knowledge, and we keep abreast with the latest in the local scene all the time. For four wheels, for two wheels, I don't know what's going on with them. All right, all right. Um, the presentation is catered for three individuals. For passionate beginners that are local, based here, Filipinos. Uh, Also for those expats or tourists who want to come here and try to play here also and have fun as part of their touristy stuff that they want to do. Or also to give also an overview to foreigners who want to develop or to take things seriously in their motorsport career and perhaps find the Philippines to possibly be a venue for them to cultivate their skills here. Okay, to be what you call this, nurtured here, and see if it's some a place where they can achieve their aims at an affordable or value conscious manner. So that remains to be seen. This is just an overview. It might not answer every question that you may have. So if you are watching this live, you can chat with us in the live chat function of YouTube. And if not, you can always message us on our various social media platforms and we would write to you. Okay? So about me, you guys of course don't know who I am, and I don't pretend to be somebody famous. So I have to give you guys an introduction. It's not about bragging and all that, but you need to know where I come from. Okay, I have been an amateur motorsport participant for 17 years. I started when I was maybe 17-ish. Uh, in various competitions. My first love is in other countries they call it autocana, other countries they call it autocross. Here there are various names for it, but the most popular one is slalom. So I'm a slalom guy, autocross guy. But I've dabbled in circuit racing, rallycross, hill climbs, grid racing, track days. What else have I done? What I haven't done is drifting yet, and I haven't done drag racing, oddly enough. I haven't done that yet. But I've done karting also. Mostly my experience in racing is in fun karts. I haven't gone to the full race karts yet, and it's kind of expensive to do that. I would imagine it in other countries to get a cart. Maybe it would be cheap for you guys, but here it's kind of expensive. You'd rather just buy a car, right? An actual car. And I digress about karting. So I've been a motorsport professional for approximately 7 years. I was a photographer for a very popular motorsport portal in the Philippines. I was a freelance person with them. And I also joined the national sporting body for Philippine Motorsport for 2 years. So right now I'm running KHL Motorsport and still playing motorsport as a competitor. Going back to that, uh, we've done race car preparations since we opened up our shop. We have prepared race cars, street cars, modified cars, and so on. Uh, so we know what to do and we know what not to do also in order for you to save money. Our interest is not to build you the fastest car. Our interest would be to give you a safe car that would be reliable. And if you really want to win, that's the time you'll have to spend the bucks. But initially, if you do get with us, collaborate with us in whatever motorsport activity you do, we will err towards the side of affordability for you guys. I'm also an entrepreneur. I trade in automobile parts and offer automobile services in our shop. I'm the general manager for KVI Quick Lube. We are quick service outlet. And yes, I'm a car enthusiast. I like cars. From that, that's actually the root cause of it all. I really love cars. That's the only thing I really like for whatever reason. Okay, that's my obsession, my passion, my business, my everything, right? So, that's basically about me. Uh, yeah, and again, to repeat, my name is Jahan Kalam. Alright, so why consider the Philippines when you go do your racing activity, whether you're a local guy or a foreigner guy, whatever? Um, I believe that the Philippines is an affordable place to compete, to practice, and to try out motorsport activities. I would imagine getting track time in other countries is expensive, especially in the top tier racetracks. Our top tier racetrack in the Philippines is Clark International Speedway. It's, I think, FIA graded 4, so it's good enough for Formula 4 cars, I guess. It's our big track. Our secondary big track is Batangas Racing Circuit. It's also a decent track, but it's older than Clark and less developed than Clark. But they're actually constantly redeveloping both tracks. The owners of the tracks constantly develop it slowly, slowly. So BRC or Batangas Racing Circuit's not really far off. And there are other ancillary places, kart tracks, uh, drift testing centers, open parking lots that people use to practice whatever motorsport discipline that they want. Um, there are various kart tracks in the Philippines, very relatively high grade. Of course, we're a third world country, so temporary expectations not gonna be like Europe, but we have some pretty good tracks. Pampanga, two decent kart tracks in Pampanga. Carmona, Cavite. Uh, Oddly enough, one in Palawan, one in Cebu. I think there's one in Tarlac, one or two tracks in Tarlac. No, one track in Tarlac, one good one in Tarlac. So there mostly motorsport activities are concentrated in Luzon as far as races with permanent venues. A lot of races are held in other parts of the country with on temporary venues like mall parking lots and such. If it's drag racing, sometimes they have a long stretch of national highway that they close down for fiestas and people go drag racing. Usually that's for motorcycles, not so common for cars. But it happens from time to time in Visayas Mindanao region. But for Luzon, we have the permanent race venues, majority of them. So if you want to practice or you want to try out motorsport, you have to be based here in Luzon until and unless somebody sets up a nice racetrack in Visayas or Mindanao region. I don't know when would that be, but investment is very ripe for those areas. Okay, if you're a tourist, you go to Clark or Batangas because those are the two major tracks in the Philippines. Let's just base ourselves on that, right? So Clark, there's a lot of things to do for in Clark, right? It is a former army base. There are lots of bars, restos, resorts, casinos. You go far enough, you can go to Mount Pinatubo, climb up Mount Pinatubo. You go farther than that, you can go to Zambales, see the beaches. Go around Capas, Tarlac, and Angeles and all that. You can see the vestiges of the old army base of the U.S., the old Clark Airfield, and various other. If you are into military stuff, the Bataan Death March, all those markers you could look at, and etc. etc. There are lots of things to do in Clark also for pleasure, for travel, for tourism type things. All right. Forget about the business prospects because there's of course business prospects, but let's just focus on being a tourist, right? When you come here, you'll see what the Philippines is, and you can decide for yourself if you want to invest here. In Batangas, it's actually in the you can say in the sticks, to borrow an American term. But it's not so far from Manila also. Um, but for tourist stuff, beaches, farms, certain resorts, you can go up. You can go to Taal Volcano. Go to Tagaytay. Look at Taal Volcano. You could go to Mount Makiling. Climb Mount Makiling if you like mountains. You can go to Laguna de Bay, Lake Caliraya. Look for. You can go to San Pablo, the city of many lakes or seven lakes, whatever lakes they have. So there's so many things that you could go and visit. If there's any fiestas going around all over the country, and you just so happen to come in a fiesta situation in an area, particular town, then you go enjoy the fiesta stuff, whatever. Philippines has a lot of tourist style activities here. We're actually underrated in terms of that one. So and of course, it's hot here. It's a tropical country. And yet, we all speak English. Okay? I speak English. Uh, and if you are going to pursue motorsport activities, there are some relevant talent to support basic motorsport activities, right? Especially for us. If you're not gonna go through us, you want to do set up something of your own. If you're gonna be long staying here, it's easy to get, relatively easy to just grab a mechanic. He's not gonna be the best mechanic. He'll just probably be an ordinary automobile mechanic, but there are lots of mechanics here that and definitely you can afford to hire even on a per weekend or a per day basis or to assist you. And they will be English speaking to some extent. They may struggle, but they will understand you. And the thing that is probably not known to many people that it's so easy to enter amateur motorsport events. All right, all right. As the driver, you don't know anything. Um, we can definitely help you slot into an appropriate motorsport that it would be relatively safe and good for beginners. So that would tend to be an auto slalom, autocross style race. Okay. If you are experienced and you could prove to us that you have a lot of seat time in various motorsport fields, then we can look for opportunities that will really excite you here. But it would definitely be affordable for you guys to come here, relatively speaking. Again, everything's relative, and I'm speaking to guys who are coming from abroad. Okay. Um, it's easy. There are the cars that you need to use. Basically, since we don't really have Formula Racing, GT Racing, Le Mans prototype style racing, we don't have those levels so much here. So whatever car that we are able to cobble up here, in a sense, of course, meeting safety regulations, would be allowed, and there would be classes for you. Normally, when you do the circuit races, on an amateur level, you are bracketed based on your lap time. So it's like bracket style drag racing that you are slotted in a certain time slot. On your run class, you'll be grouped on your on your lap time, and you will break out if you go faster than your bracket time. So it's like our grid racing here is very interesting in that regard. So you can drive if you can afford the supercar and race the supercar, you can find opportunities to race your supercar here. If you are budgeted and you want to avail our affordable race car rentals, and that one would be you could really enjoy yourself even though the car is not the fastest thing on four wheels. Licensing, We can definitely help you on that one, on licensing aspect. Normally, a lot of the organizers don't require licenses from. When I say license, I mean racing license, competition licenses that are usually issued by the national sporting body. Uh, some require it, some don't. So depends on where you want to race. We will definitely help you there. But if you're just a tourist and you'll be competing in a competition, you can just join. You're just gonna do it once. Maybe there would be a good chance that you won't need to secure a competition license. But even if you do, and if it is on a grassroots level of motorsport you're competing, um, there are licenses issued for grassroots specifically by the Automobile Association Philippines. Uh, so anyway, we can always cross the bridge when you get here. Okay, next slide. Okay, racing in the Philippines has its disadvantages. These are a few things that I just thought about. It's not exhaustive. Do your own due diligence before you want to do something serious here. Um, Honestly, the size and breadth of motorsport, the industry of motorsport here is so small. It's not very big. I envy the guys in even let's say a small country like Australia, New Zealand, or let's say New Zealand. There are a lot of excellent guys there that build race cars and set up race cars and all that, and to a high tier. There's so few guys here in this country that can really do the top work. Um, yeah, we also don't claim to be one of those shops that can do the top tier work. Okay, but it's very limited here to do those things, and you'll pay an arm and a leg. Um, I'm sure also if you go to New Zealand and have it done, it will really cost you an arm and a leg. But if you do it here and you just guide the people in exactly what you want to do, or you try to do it yourself with help from a local mechanic, then you might be able to save buku bucks as far as labor cost is concerned if you do it here. But if you are looking for somebody who already knows what they're doing, it's very difficult. It's not easy. There are so few of them that are here. And the industry, the people who are racing for, for pleasure, or the majority of the active guys, they're limited to one type of car, Honda Civic, and a little bit on the Toyotas and a little bit on the Mitsubishis. But a lot of the guys, at least for the past 5-10 years, there are a lot. It's really a Honda centric modifying market here. Okay, at least as far as the number of people setting up their cars for competitions, really the Honda. So if you're gonna use a Honda, there'll be a lot of people who will help you out. If you want to use another car, it might be more difficult. You have a V8, very difficult if you like V8s. Uh, you will get all your parts from the US if you have an American V8. There are no parts here for that. Honda, no problem for competition parts, for modification parts, right? And but if you're really looking for the good motorsport specific parts, it's not easy to find here. Look for okay. I always tell people you want to go set up a competition car, a race car. The first thing you should look for, I always tell people, you want to build a very competitive race car, even on whatever budget you have, right? Does it have a limited slip differential? I always ask people that your car does. Can you buy a LSD for your car? Can you buy a posse for your car? Whatever. A lot of the times is yes, because they use the popular Japanese cars, and Japan really has a slew of differential manufacturers. Kaas, Cusco, alright, ATS, I guess. Okay, so they have a slew of just differential manufacturers. Here, you you not gonna get anybody to manufacture. There's nobody manufacturing those motorsport specific parts for you, right? We don't export motorsport parts. That's not our that we're very small that way. We import everything of those special parts. All right, but for Hondas, you can always buy the limited slip here. There are people selling. All right, but if you don't, but usually you have to import your own by your own, or have the local representative of the brand of the LSD you want. You can have them. Uh, you can order from them usually, but they don't usually stock a lot. Another issue, since we have a small industry, the quantity and quality of racing venues are limited. Again, the best racetrack we have is Clark International Speedway, and it's pretty nice. I have quirks. There are quirks there of the racetrack. The track itself is nice and safe, except for one corner. But facilities are nice. Parking is limited. Parking is limited. Paddock space, they're increasing, but parking is limited. So to just watch the races is hard. Parking is difficult in Clark, and more so in Batangas. But since Batangas is used less, uh, there's space. There is space. They have good ample parking actually in Batangas, relatively speaking. Even Clark, but with the big races, they run. Even Batangas runs out of parking. If you're looking for higher tier motorsport, Formula 4, Formula 3, all these GT cars, whatever, these Le Mans type of cars, prototypes, whatever. We don't have that here. WRC, we don't have that here. We all have low grade races and low grade cars. With the exception of, let's say, Formula V1, Radical, uh, b- and by extension, maybe our one make race series, the Vios Cup. Those are great races in great motorsport. But besides that, we're all. I'm not saying also that we're all poor people here, even though we're a third world country or a developing country. You know, there are guys with supercars here also, guys with European cars here also racing and such, and even minis racing, classic minis. So we have those subsets of stuff, but if you're looking for the higher tier stuff, we don't have that here. Go to Malaysia, go to Thailand. We don't have that here yet. Maybe you would be the one to bring it in. All right. And the second part, well, this is not necessarily only for motorsport, but the thing is, if you really want to do something here in the Philippines related to motorsport, there are business ownership restrictions for foreigners. So you kinda can't do business as a foreigner. Normally, with a corporation, you need to have a Filipino partner owning 60% of the stock of the company. There are companies where there are industries where 100% foreign ownership is allowed. Definitely in the BPO industry, it's allowed. Business process outsourcing industry is allowed. But I don't know for motorsport activities, for tourism style activities. Um, if you go out of the free port zones, it might be limited for you to do things outside. But if you are going to do certain things on the free port areas, like Clark is a free port area. Um, Maybe there are opportunities for you, but important thing is to come and see first. But and you can consult your own legal advice from an attorney here. But if you want to do something big investment, be cognizant of the fact that foreigners or foreign companies not necessarily that easy to set up shop here. Not, that does not say that it is a crap market to do business in. Again, we have 110 million people, right? We are a bigger number population than Thailand, three times Malaysia, right? Three times Australia. So it's just um, for certain industries, it probably be good to consider the Philippines. But you do your own due diligence. For motorsport, depends on what you want to do. Um, but honestly, what people do is base themselves in a more appropriate country and get Filipino mechanics to work for them. That's what other people do. So maybe that's something you could do as well. Hire Filipino mechanics. It's 8:33. Okay. Uh, we have to. Can I wrap this within an hour? I don't know. What are the various motorsport disciplines in the Philippines? Let's make it quick. This is just an overview. So, parking lot racing, that is autocross, slalom, gymkhana. If you know what autocross is, guys, so I'm not gonna explain to you. I split circuit racing into two categories. So there's the one that uses cars or saloon cars. So the top tier is one make race, as evidenced by the Vios Cup. So the Vios Cup is a regular series organized by Toyota Philippines, and that's the one of the top tier race series for circuit racing here. Grid racing, you have the what do they call it? Philippine GT, Philippine Grand Touring Championships. Uh, so usually the lowest category is 100 horsepower class. They do dyno test your car to see if you are above or below 100 horsepower. So there are 100, 150, 200, and I think they phased out the 300 horsepower class. There's no one who's running 300 horsepower here. 200 is pretty much uh, the horsepower that people can afford for continuous circuit racing. But the entry level one is probably the bracket style grid racing, the time trial racing or time attack racing that is organized here. So any car for this category is basically run what you bring, drive any car that you like, or run whatever car that you have rather. Rally rally racing rally has died. But slowly, it's becoming slowly coming back into resurgence. It was very strong in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s in the Philippines. But with the advent of permanent race venues, rally racing went with the dodo, or so it seemed. But there are two groups of people that are revitalizing the rally discipline. All right, actually three. If you count time, speed, distance, there are three groups, right? So the entry level rally race is a TSD style rally organized by MP Turbo. Rallycross is organized by the group of Rallycross. Hill climb is not often, but sometimes they have hill climb races. At least once a year for the past 3 years, there were races in Mangatarem, Pangasinan. Rally Spirit or Stage Rally, so that's they're organizing it. So hopefully that becomes more and more situated as the organizing committee finds it uh, financially capable. They are financially capable of doing rally races, and there are people continuing to participate in such races. So rallies come anything, but don't expect WRC style speeds, right? Again, third world country, developing country. Karting, my major experience is in fun carts over the years. Race cars, if you are into karting, you want to go real serious in karting, I can refer you to people racing teams that do that. It can help you get situated on that. And then circuit racing, since you guys, those guys who are into karting, want to climb up in the formulas. We don't have Formula 4 here. We don't have Formula 3 here. We have Formula V1, basically Japanese prototype style race cars. And the Radical, if you guys are familiar with the Radical cars from the UK, so we have a local Radical series in the Philippines. But besides that, that's basically it for prototype or formula racing. We also have drifting. Last year, there was a National Drift Championships. This year, I don't know if they're organizing one. I don't know next year if they're organizing one. And drag racing. Drag racing actually is the biggest motorsport in the Philippines for four wheels, right? Hundreds and hundreds of people participate. Unfortunately, drag racing is only 5 to 6 months a year being held because we have a rainy season of 5 to 6 months in the Philippines. And we don't get not just rain, we get typhoons, right? 10 to 12 to 15 to 20 a year coming into the Philippine area of responsibility. Huh. Let me first check the stream before I continue. Excellent connection. So I'm still live, so that's good, I guess. Anyway, let's continue. Anyway, if these two disciplines are things that you like, do let us know. We have cars available for you for drag racing. Basically any car for bracket style drag racing. I think I haven't done it before. I haven't tested my car for drag racing or the cars that we have under the team, whatever. Should be at least a low 14s car, high 13s car in the quarter mile. Anyway, let's test that out next year. Okay, let's discuss this, right? This is what people like to achieve when they go racing. Everyone wants to be a Formula 1 driver. There are only 20 seats. And by extension, 10 reserve seats. So 30 guys. Only 30 people and there are 5 billion, 6 billion people in the world. Or how many billion of people that we have? 36, 30 seats. Uh, just play lotto or play the sweepstakes, whatever. Maybe you have a better chance of winning than becoming a Formula 1 driver. I don't know. Everyone starts from karting, then they climb up from Formula 4, they climb up to Formula 3, climb up to Formula 2, and eventually, hopefully, they reach Formula 1. But there's millions of karters, probably thousands of Formula 4 guys, hundreds of Formula 3, 100, maybe 150 to 100 Formula 2 guys. And again, 20 plus 10 seats in Formula 1. In Formula 4, you can go race in Asia, you can race in Europe, you can race in America, and join all those various feeder series. You're gonna jump head on against all the gung-ho young hot shots who also are blinded to eventually be a Formula 1 driver, whatever. But really, there's so few guys that become Formula 1 drivers. And from karting honestly is the most expensive motorsport, grassroots motorsport in the Philippines. I don't know about other countries, but here it's very expensive to acquire. But of course, there are ways and means to skin the cat to save cost if you need to scrimp. But in general, it's expensive. Because the cart, you only use it for racing and maybe you hang it on the wall for display. For the price of a decent go-kart and preparing the go-kart, you can buy a second-hand car, you can use it on the street and then join slalom. Join autocross. Right? So, so you're really, I mean, you can scrimp on karting a little bit, but it's really money out proposition. And every one of these steps, the price increase, and millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands, it becomes, you're in karting, it would be tens of thousands of dollars. Formula 4, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maybe you go higher, it'll be millions already. Formula 1, what we have heard on the grapevine, we had the closest prospect that we had to Formula 1 was Marlon Stockinger. If he was able to secure 20 million euro sponsorship, he would have a seat at Lotus. That is what we heard in the grapevine. 20 million euros. If it was 20 million pesos, maybe that would be something surmountable. Could be funded maybe. But 20 million euros, that's what? A billion pesos. That's a lot of money for us. Formula 1 is a pipe dream to be a Filipino Formula 1 driver. You become a Filipino Formula 1 driver, and who will care? Maybe when you get there, a lot of people will care. But as you climb up there, nobody cares. We're a basketball country. Okay. Oddly enough, with short people. Uh, so this is the motorsport ladder that the FIA has for you if you follow that construct. But how about just enjoying motorsport as a hobby, as a pastime? This one is work. This is hard. This is cutthroat. You're climbing a pyramid, right? There are millions of people under you and millions of people above you, and it is a cutthroat thing to be a Formula 1 driver. If you achieve it, hats off to you. But what if you just want to do it as a hobby, as a pastime? So instead of the motorsport ladder, I present to you the motorsport buffet. Alright? So instead of climbing up the ladder, just pick and choose what you want to join. Go racing and have fun and try everything. That my motorsport experience is I tried everything I could afford. I learned a little, I enjoyed, I cried. I cried a lot of times, I lost a lot of times. When I succeeded, I was very much happy, but on those few times. But the adventures of trying out every discipline I could was something very much a pleasure for me. So if you're just a tourist, why don't you just try out? Just take a sample, take a taste of motorsport. One thing you're not able to do in from at whatever you're from, you can try doing it here, and maybe it would be cheaper for you to try it here. Maybe you can do your own due diligence if it's really cheap or not. Yeah, just checking the stream. So obviously, if you want to be a pro, we can also help you be a pro here in the country. You want to win. There are a lot of people who will sell you that we make winners in motorsport, whatever. So you go to them, they'll make you spend. We'll make you spend also because it's not cheap to win. All right. But if you're just enjoying, let's just maximize whatever minimal resources that we have, right? Let's just have fun going in motorsport. Let's not take it seriously. Let's just go for fun. Let's not think of it as a business thing, right? That we have to scrounge up sponsors and all that. Okay, whatever little money we have, right? Let's just go and see where we can have the most fun, right? And instead of climbing the ladder, let's eat the buffet, right? Let's pick and choose what we like. Okay, that's what we want to promote to you guys, that motorsport, you can do it as a hobby, as a pastime, and you can do it also as a tourist activity if you're a foreigner. If you're a local guy, it could be, of course, it's not cheap, right? Um, given the minimum wage in the Philippines, it's kind of sometimes you know, a shot a shot at the moon. What do you call that? In Tagalog, we call it suntok sa ban. You know, punching to the moon, trying to punch the moon. So that might not be very applicable for everyone, but if you have a certain level of income already, then motorsport is as cheap. Probably it's comparable to golf, maybe slightly more expensive than golf. I don't know. I don't play golf, or if you're gonna go out to the beach or go to another country, travel abroad, Japan, Europe, whatever, motorsports might actually be similar in cost if you go race here. Yeah, we know how to make it cheap for you guys, so we can definitely help you out on that one. How you can stretch your funds for that one. Okay, how do you race affordably in the Philippines? I'm not gonna go through the nitty gritties on the actual tips and tricks unless you ask me on the live chat. And maybe I'll take the opportunity to delve further. But if you want to go race more affordably, the disciplines and the types of racing under those disciplines, you go to the affordable category, right, on the left. So you want to go karting, just do rental carts. I'm sure it's also cheap to do rental carts from where you're from, but that's a cheaper option also here. Probably it's cheaper here than in other countries. I don't know, to do the same thing. I don't know. Auto slalom, autocross slalom racing, all disciplines are relatively cheap. Circuit racing, you go to the racetrack, pay the track fee, go for a practice run, go around the track. It's not so expensive. Go do a time trial race, not so expensive. Time attack race, not so expensive. If you're just taking a relatively safe, normal car, not that expensive. It's slightly dangerous, of course, especially if you don't know what you're doing because of the high speeds. But if you're familiar with circuit racing, that's to be expected, right? Rally, time, speed, distance, you could use a normal car. It doesn't have to be a special car. And it's actually quite fun. It's more of a treasure hunt style racing if that's something you like to do. It's actually quite fun. It's a family style motorsport, which is pretty good. Rallycross is it's actually the most damaging to the car as far as the suspension is concerned, but I really recommend Rallycross to really learn uh, car control. Again, the other side you can ignore if you have a lot of money, then you do the other stuff, right? How I segmented this races is I imagined if I had, let's say, $300 to $400. All right, if I had $300 to $400 to spend, where's the cheapest place where's that $300 or $400 where I can maximize that for a weekend of racing? Rental carts, $1,000, 1,800 pesos. If you had 15,000 bucks, you'll probably not finish your 15,000. You'll be dog tired even for 2 days of straight karting, right? In the rental cart facilities, right? Even at 2,000 peso a pop. If you had 15 to 20,000 pesos, oh man, you won't be able to finish it. I tell you, you won't be able to finish it. Slalom racing weekend, if you already have your own car, you're going by yourself, 6,000 peso is 5 to 6,000 peso is good enough. But you can always spend more, definitely. I'm not talking about acquiring a car in this. Of course, buying the car is separate or renting the car is separate. But for the actual fees that you have to pay and also transportation, gasoline, basically the variable costs, uh, it's relatively affordable to race here in the Philippines. 15,000, 20,000 peso, 300 to $400. Very, that's very generous to race here. especially in the way that I'm doing for myself rather. Okay. Circuit racing, yeah, track fees, whatever. Yeah, I think you'll spend a little bit more, but yeah, if you have a car, it's not so expensive also. Rally times with distance, not so expensive. Rallycross would be on the ballpark figure, but it's not so expensive also if you think about it. But you have to kind of think that you might break something in your car, so you might need that money for, you can say, an allowance, parts allowance. If you have more to spend, then do the other stuff in the Philippines, but you would also find it. And it might be also cheaper to do it here than in the other countries if you compare it. So if you're serious to look at doing things here, do approach us. We can definitely help you out. In order for you to maximize your, what you call this, whatever it is that you have for motorsport. Whatever funds that you have for motorsport, you can maximize it here. And you can do your own due diligence if it's cheaper to do it here than in another country. But of course, if you're a tourist, you can always plug it in as part of your itinerary if you're just gonna go do some fun stuff, right? But of course, you're gonna do this one, the higher levels. There would be a lot of vetting, I guess. And that if we are to handle you, we will definitely have to vet you. So how can we help? How can our race team help you guys? We offer race car rentals. So we are building a fleet of cars that you could use for circuit, rally, autocross, slalom, and the relevant motorsports applicable to those type of cars. And we're building a drift car as well. So if you guys want to try drifting. We also offer vehicle preparation, trackside support, and motorsport consultation. So we're building up our fleet. So we have online our Toyota Corolla rally car. So powered by 1.5 liter Toyota engine, manual transmission for front wheel drive. Has a roll cage, a racing seat. Uh, it's as far as go fast mods, it has a rally suspension and limited slip differential. But the engine is a standard 1.5 liter all aluminum engine. So it's basically cheap to run and also cheap for us to lend to you. So again, we're here. We're trying to offer a value maximizing package for you guys. So okay, it's a Corolla, cheap Corolla, whatever, but at least it's safe and you can maximize your driving with it. So currently we have one of this. We're building a second one. It should be online next year. We have another Corolla that we are also making into a race car. We're also going to be building a drift car, so that will also be online next year. It will be 2-liter turbocharged car. So it'll not be a high-powered beast. It's not gonna be a top competition car, but it has the potential to be if we spend more money in it. But at least to try out drifting, uh, even at a low horsepower level, if it slides the car around, it should be good enough. So we'll have one drift car. And if we like you and we find that you want to pursue autocross slalom seriously and want to win a championship here in the Philippines for autocross style races, we have our very competitive front-wheel drive slalom car, and we're about to complete our all-wheel drive slalom car, which is going to be insane. Uh, so, and if you have your own car, we can prepare your car for we can adequately and properly prepare your car appropriately as well for the motorsport that you want to join. So that's something we can do for you. We offer trackside support if you need a mechanic, you need someone to babysit you, translate for you, whatever. Well, I only speak English and Filipino, but if you know, we can help you on that one also. If you have your own car, if you rent a car that comes standard already, trackside support. And if you want to look at ways and means to do things here in this country as far as motorsport is concerned, please do approach us. We can definitely guide you towards the right direction depending on your goals. Yeah, with our 17 years of motorsport experience, we can definitely help you out. Approaching 18 years actually. So how do you get in contact with us? Um, you can email us. Our email is listed here. And you can also check out our socials. We are in YouTube, of course. Facebook. It's best to reach us on Facebook, actually. Instagram is just putting pictures from time to time. We're more active on Facebook as far as messaging, replying to business inquiries. So email and Facebook would be the best. But please feel free to like us also on YouTube. And hopefully that you could subscribe to us. That would really help us nicely. So, yeah, that's basically it. And I'm looking at the live chat. There are no questions. There are no questions. And it's 9 o'clock. Anyway, if you guys are gonna be watching this later, you can always uh, you guys can always chat, reply to the chat, or leave a comment on this video, and we'll answer your questions there. If you really want one-to-one consultation via telephone call, that would be available at the middle tier of uh, our Patreon account. We are on Patreon, guys. So if you guys wish to support us, please support us on Patreon. The link is on the description for our Patreon. We have a middle tier, so if you subscribe to the middle tier of support, we will have one. We can offer one-to-one motorsport consultation for you guys on a telephone call or on what do you call this one? Like a Zoom meet. We can have a Zoom or something, whatever you prefer. Um, or even we can set up a face-to-face meeting if you're here in the country. You know, if you are a supporter in that middle tier level, we can do it once. If you go on the higher tier, we can have it as often as you want. So yeah, that's basically it. It's 9 o'clock, 1 hour in the stream. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment. And I hope this is something that if you happen to stumble upon this video, I hope it helps. If it doesn't help, well, again, leave stuff in the comments. We accept constructive criticisms. We don't really accept mindless, senseless bashing. But we like to hear from you, and hopefully we also learn from your comments. That said, I guess this is it for the stream. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you guys on the next video. Let us know anything about this video, and hope this serves you well. Thank you, guys. See you in the next video. Ciao. Yeah, this is it. You're ending the video now. Bye bye.